All right, so game number 2 in our best of 5. We currently have Fuego, my Eggo, down 0-1. Seraphim, of course, leading. Seraphim picked Cursed Hollow. First ban, first pick going over to Fuego, my Eggo. I got it right now. Apologies. Every once in a while, you just get it backwards in your head.
There you go. And with first bans now, with Tassadar no longer being that automatic first ban, you could go a lot of different ways. You could ban out one of the globals like Falstad or Dahaka, and then the other team has a choice. Do we match that global, or do we ban someone like Zarya, who's really moved up since Tassadar's out of the picture now? And that's exactly what we see here, is a first ban Dahaka. So how does Seraphim respond to this?
And this is the challenge, right? Because if you let a global through, Fuego's going to take the global. If you let a shielder through, Fuego's going to take the shielder. So instead you ban the other good global so that you can both get shielding characters. If you so desire. That doesn't mean you're going to take Zarya or Tassadar, but it's available for both teams now.
Yeah, I think in this era, Zarya, even with some of the reductions in her numbers, she still enables so many different compositions. And on Cursed Hollow, she has a ranged interrupt on those tribute channels. I think she's very good here. And with Expulsion Zone in some of these tribute areas, she's so hard to pass up. And there it is, the lock-in on Zarya.
I mean, I hate to say I can't say I'm surprised because I'm not surprised. So
I guess when you first pick Zarya, though, you have to wonder if they are going to counter that with a typical shield counter in Varian, who you know what? Cursed Hollow definitely goes beyond level 10, and when Varian picks up, gets his taunts, gets his shield breakers, you can definitely punish Zarya or the person she's trying to enable.
I do like the Ariel Vala pick. Seraphim sticking with Ariel, saying, you know what, Ariel worked really well for us last game, and we're going to give her Vala because we know Vala is the #1 battery for Ariel.
Yeah, and this may be in a lot of ways a denial as well. You don't want to just hand over Vala with Zarya. And an Ariel Vala Zarya, that would be even scarier.
Right. All right, and Arthas Lucio. Lucio definitely enabling Arthas to be more Arthas-like and move around the map faster, because Arthas, the challenge I've always felt playing Arthas is you have to walk around slowly, and Lucio enables you to not have that problem.
Yeah, I really love it here. Again, we're calling for that, Lucio. Calling for some of these standard comfort picks. Their Arthas is very strong as well. So having that Lucio Arthas composition, very strong. Pairing that with a Zarya, even stronger.
Right. All right, and we are going to see, looks like Li Ming banned here for Seraphim. I like this ban. Li Ming can poke out a tribute for a long time. So banning her makes a lot of sense, especially if you don't plan on taking it, denying that from Fuego.
I am a little surprised at that priority. Li Ming has fallen in power quite a bit, and especially with, the potential of picking up someone like a Nubrak in this next rotation, Li Ming can lose a lot of her value with some of those beetles running around. Who's a harder counter to Oreo would be the Chromie, and that might be something that I'd be even more afraid of.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. And Chromie can poke as well as Li Ming on Cursed Hollow when trying to halt a tribute. So, that's a very good point.
Yeah, it could be a very strong punish here. They've got a solid front line with Arthas and Zarya and Lucio Sustain. I mean, they can get a lot of vision here where Chromie stays safe in the back, and they can flex out these last 2 picks for the side of Fuego. So I'm kind of liking the chances here of Fuego picking up a Chromie on the back end of this. So does Seraphim see this? Do they know that that's something that they might run into? Are they going to pick up a Nubrak here and pair that up with something else?
Maybe
we'll have to see.
Maybe they planned on going into the Chromie here.
They could definitely go into the Chromie for themselves. You could try to rewind on someone here, or temporal loop on someone. But with the Zarya already picked up, that's going to be instant shields, and later on Zarya can even get the cleanse as well. So Zarya actually makes up for a lot of things that Lucio doesn't have, like burst healing or burst damage mitigation and cleanse.
Taking their time with these picks, though, running that clock down. And, we see some teams that already have their picks chosen. They just want to run the clock down. They want to make sure they're using the time they need to use. And there we go. ETC Nazebo. Okay.
ETC Nazebo. So very interesting choices here. ETC I still think is very strong. He's got lots of setup, lots of peel. And right now there aren't a lot of interruptions. I mean, if Lucio gets a good sound wave, or if Zarya holds on to her expulsion zone, those can definitely be mosh pit interruptions. I think more often, though, we are seeing that ETC is going for stage dives. But with that Li Ming ban, I think they might be trying to do some mosh pit wombos here.
They might, and that, I think you're probably right. And the other thing that pairs well with a mosh is going Nazebo's second ultimate. I'm totally going blank on it. The channeled one though.
Ravenous Spirit.
Yes, yeah. Because it gets so much value if you can channel the entire Ravenous Spirit, it's 100% better than your other choice. So if you're confident in the mosh, you're probably also confident in the Ravenous Spirit, and that's a ton of damage coming out along with Vala doing damage as well.
Yeah, I think they've been very diligent in banning out some of these mosh interrupts. Falstad, Mighty Gust, Li Ming, Wave of Force. It kind of seems like they're systematically removing a lot of these. But now Kael'thas again being picked up here, and Sonya as well. There's a couple of more interrupts there on the back, but again, triple warrior on the front line with Kael'thas in the back. These are some of their comfort picks. Lucio, Sonya, Kael'thas, Arthas. Yeah. I think that's the core of Fuego My Eggo's team.
And an Anubarak pick coming up at the end. This is an interesting draft. I don't know how I feel about an Anubarak as the last pick to pair with ETC. I mean, it can work, and it might work.
I think Anubarak is a very flexible pick. Anubarak is going to be able to stand in there with the Kael'thas, right? If he is able to get onto the back line, he can just burrow through. Lots of lockdown to stop the Sonya and interrupt her anytime she's whirlwinding. So, they've got that. I think the sleeper here for the Anubarak is going to be Cocoon. Most of the time you see Locust Swarm, but Locust Swarm, getting reduced in that area of effect damage, Lucio would probably be able to heal most of that out. I think we're going to see a Cocoon come out.
We probably will. We saw that last game. We wouldn't surprise me if we saw this game. But with all of that said, our teams are loaded in. Let's go ahead and introduce them real quick. For the red team, Fuego My Eggo, we do have Mundane Zebra on the Sonya, Tyrander on the Lucio, Marybo on the Kael'thas, Alpine on the Zarya, and Skullum on the Arthas.
And with a 1-game lead, you've got Seraphim with a Rubber Duck now playing Nazebo, Loco on Vala, Hawkpire on Aria once again, DJ Hellscream on Anubarak, and Shiggity on ETC.
This should be another good game. I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do here.
3, 2, 1.
Really, the only global is ETC if he goes stage dive.
Yeah, and I think both teams here may be prioritizing more of that team fight than playing that rotation-based global style. Both team compositions are very much built to just run into each other and dive each other's back lines and really brawl.
Both teams kind of looking around to figure out where the other team is right now. They're both avoiding each other almost. Bottom lane, we do have 3 members of Seraphim finding that Sonya down here. So they're going to go ahead and push in on this front wall.
Yeah, they're getting some early race on the towers, but up in the top lane, the 3-man doing the exact same thing. Alpine, of course, does not have full energy, so their race is going to be just a little bit slower here compared to the Loco on Vala at the bottom. I think both teams here content to continue with this three-man trade again, and just try to take down as much as they can. It is in both of their own bosses' lanes, so the priority here may be to try and just push in as hard as possible and then take those bosses as often as possible to get pressure onto those respective lanes. But a rotation up in the top, DJ Hellscream getting the burrow charge into Maribel and some extra damage out with the bed of barbs here. Now there's going to be 2 delaying this push up in the top. They are still getting soak in between the bottom and middle lanes, but a little bit of an experience advantage right now going over to the side of Fuego my Eggo.
Well, what's interesting is structurally, we actually have Seraphim ahead just a little bit.
Yeah,
So
level 4, nearly half a level ahead here from Fuego my Eggo, and that I think is just from soaking.
yeah, if you noticed, Arthas stayed mid the entire time, and so while Sonya was soaking bottom, and we now have 2 members up in the top lane, Arthas just continued to soak mid lane that entire time. But we do have the fort going down bottom lane to Vala and Ariel, so that's going to catch them right up and surpass Fuego my Eggo in experience. Not going to be enough to really make a huge difference, though, because it's so early and because it's first fort. We both know that more forts will fall. I highly doubt this will be a 1-fort game, so... But a new Barak defending solo now top lane.
And very interestingly, neither team opted to go back for their siege giants, which you so often see on Cursed Hollow. So, both teams sticking with a 3-man push composition. And in this case, Seraphim gets the better end of it, taking down an entire fort and having that lucky tribute spawn in that lane as well.
Oh, and now they're looking to push that middle lane, Seraphim is. They got Vala and Ariel pushing in a little bit on the towers and the fort wall. With their minions, they can't push in quite as hard because they don't have ETC there to soak shots with them.
Gather tribute or face
Looks like we might have a rotation happening towards the top, but with the tribute spawning just below mid lane, that train is turning around and looking to go and get this tribute.
Yeah, Seraphim will have to be careful moving through this choke point down into the tribute spawn area. Rubber Duck gonna scout it out with some toads here. Shigady's gonna get interrupted here, but a very narrow choke here. Skullum's gonna hold him at bay here, and Mundane Zebra's gonna 1v1 the Shigady on the left side. They've got a good zone right now, but Rubber Duck and Loco can still poke in and delay this. DJ Hellscream makes his way in. Skullum trying to force them all out here. The burrow in. DJ Hellscream's in deep.
Not deep enough, though, and the tribute being picked up. And out comes the damage. Oof.
Yeah, DJ Hellscream trying to get in there, trying to get the interrupts, but in the end, he goes too deep. He falls. He's going to be the first blood over to Fuego my Eggo. I think now might be a good time to point out some of the builds that we have here. 2 interesting builds, at least here. We've actually got Toad build coming out from Nazeebo here, as well as a Q build coming out from Vala.
So I think something interesting about the Toad build, I think we just saw that earlier today on Division 3 final game as well.
Yeah, the newest round of updates here gave Nazeebo a little bit more damage on the Toads. And, if he can get that stacked up on a triple warrior composition, those Toads can do a lot of damage. And,
Right.
before Spiders became a build, Toad build was actually very strong.
Right, back in the... not back in the olden days, but back in the days before Spiders, Toad build was definitely the standard build that most people ran on Nazeebo.
And a nice zombie wall there, securing a takedown onto the Arthas. Maribel tried to come into a flank here to try and interrupt, but he goes down as DJ Hellscream and Loco focuses him down. Now it's just Mundane Zebra trying to poke in here. They're going to have to yield this tribute, and that's going to be 2-1 for Seraphim.
Backing out and allowing Seraphim to come and try to de-push this top lane, which they definitely need to do.
And so more damage coming out. I actually would have liked to see Seraphim stay in the top, take a few more of those towers, get themselves even closer to level 10, because if they get level 10 by this next tribute phase, it means Fuego my Eggo has to give it up, and that would be a curse with already the bottom lane already taken care of.
That might be what we're seeing. Vala and Ariel now in the top lane. If they can get a tank to come join them, they can definitely push in on this front fort. Actually, they may not even need one. All the shots, or most of the shots, already drained from this fort wall in the top lane. But no, just soaking and then possibly rotating back down. Or not. It's the shuffle.
Yeah, a bit of a longer tribute spawn here, and so level 10s are going to be picked up regardless just from soaking all 3 lanes here. And so Heroic's going to come online here for Seraphim, and Fuego My Eggo has to make sure that they get as much soak as they can. And here comes that next tribute.
We do have Gargantuan picked up on the Nazebo, so not going into that Ravenous Spirit. And Cocoon. Like you predicted, so we do see the Cocoon. I think ETC is holding his. Nope, there is the Mosh Pit. So they're definitely looking to push some people down and just kill them. Vala, of course, picking up Rain of Vengeance, so that's a further stun that they will have.
Boss taken now by Fuego My Eggo, and they made a very decisive decision there in the top. They knew they weren't gonna be able to contest, and they moved on to that boss right as the tribute spawned. So they got on top of that very quickly. That's going to take a lot of the pressure off in the top lane, and you know, if it goes uncontested, it'll push its way onto the keep wall at least, but they don't have to worry about that top lane. They just need to worry about the middle and bottom.
3-man mosh pit.
Yeah, 3-man mosh pit. Arthas, Lucio caught in it. Not enough to interrupt. Maribou did throw out the Phoenix to try and zone out. Loco actually going down in the back. Hellscream gets the Cocoon off. And he's going to be caught in the middle of 4 here. So can they secure the rest of this takedown? Mundane Zebra going to try and spin through it. Alpine with the extra shielding here. And Expulsion Zone here actually catching Hawkpire out in the back here. Hawkpire very low. A nice Detainment Strike to get Mundane Zebra off, so a little bit of self-peel here. The rest of Seraphim is able to disengage here.
I think that defense was probably the best that Fuego My Eggo could have hoped for. They got the boss. The boss actually pushed down, opened up at least the keep wall. And they didn't lose any structures at all. I mean, they lost a cannon tower next to a fort that was already taken. So, you know, from my point of view, they lost no structures, right? Even though I guess technically they did lose the one.
Yeah, I think best case scenario, like you say, for Fuego My Eggo, you know, taking that early curse, but, you know, not suffering a lot of heavy damage. They are going to be a little bit behind in the experience here. There's going to be about a level advantage for Seraphim. So if Seraphim can work on their own boss now and try to get that pushing directly into that bottom lane, you know, this was the priority we saw for them early in the game, was to commit to that 3-man in the bottom. This boss is going to be pushing onto the front wall here, and a couple of towers are already a little bit low. So, you know, this boss has the potential to take down an early keep.
And it could do so because we do see Seraphim starting this boss right now. While the rest of Seraphim, we have Nazebo and ETC for Seraphim pushing that mid lane and just kind of soaking XP, trying to get these bruisers in so that they can look at doing some damage to this fort while the boss pushes bottom lane. So now Fuego My Eggo has to make a choice. Do they stop Seraphim from pushing this fort, or do they go defend boss? Or do they split and take a 5-on-2 or 3? It looks like that's the decision they're going to make here.
Yeah, Arthas up in the top lane. He's trying to catch them up to level 13. This mid fort is almost all but done. A Rubber Duck already complete his Toad quest, and so that's going to be just poking this fort down, and Sonya's going to be the only one taking down the boss.
The choice is simple.
So another nice tribute spawn position here for Seraphim. They are actually all in position to rotate here. Sonya's still down in the bottom lane, clearing out this boss. It's going to go down, but, you know, tribute's already up, and it's going to be a 5-on-4 for a brief amount of time here.
I mean, typically I would have said that this spawn location was in Fuego's advantage, but not with all of Seraphim already up here. And there's the mosh pit grabbing 2.
Another big mosh pit. Shiggity went for that power slide onto Arthas. Arthas actually stayed alive for a very long time there in the expulsion zone coming out from Alpine there. Actually put DJ, Hellscream, and Shiggity in a precarious position, but they just didn't have the damage to take them all down. And so on the back of that, it is just a single takedown onto the Arthas.
And I think you definitely saw Arthas's Army of the Dead getting value there. That's what helped him sustain for so long and stay alive. Going down to check the bottom lane, we can see the boss did a little bit of damage to the fountain next to that keep. Did finish off that keep wall, but that is all it got.
And this might be the best opportunity that Fuego My Eggo has to take an even team fight on level 13 talents. But in the middle lane, Mundane Zebra getting burrowed and power slid onto. That Rain of Vengeance catches her at the tail end. Skullum trying to peel again. No Army of the Dead this time, but he is slowing down Shiggity. Expulsion Zone pushing the rest of the team away. Mundane Zebra re-engages now, but very low. She gets taken down. Maribel on the back line now. And now Maribel goes down as well.
Shiggity also really low in that back. They might pick off this Arthas here. Skullum getting low. DJ Hellscream not wanting to back off, still looking to take that fight, but just going to get to the front keep wall. 16 versus 14 now. That was their opportunity to fight. It just didn't quite work out. We saw a little anti-synergy where Zarya's Expulsion Zone was actually pushing people out of Kael'thas's Phoenix.
Yeah, and I don't think they started that fight on their own terms. You know, it all started off with an engagement onto Mundane Zebra, and Mundane Zebra was already low by the time the meat of that team fight started to happen. So I think it was actually a team fight that Seraphim wanted to start.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it was bad luck and just worked out the way it did. I don't think Seraphim was looking to go boss here. I think they were just scouting out, looking for Fuego My Eggo, but it looks like we're going to get another team fight. Skullum oh so low and now encased in that cocoon.
And you can just see the poison damage coming out from a rubber duck and those toads. Mundane Zebra again caught Rain of Vengeance. She goes down. A detainment strike onto Alpine catches him in there. Skullum as well deep in the team. 3 takedowns. That's a triple for Seraphim.
And I expect them to go boss now. They could push, but Ariel really wants to get Maribel there, doing everything she can to try and get that Kael'thas, and Nubrak finishing him off. DJ Hellscream with the kill there, and Loco already starting boss. You're Vala. I mean, I get it, but you're Vala.
This is the rise of Ariel. Hawkpire making Ariel look so good. Almost 1v1ing Maribel on the Kael'thas, getting the detainment strike, getting the stun, and then the extra sweep to put that extra damage on.
And with the curse, this should be top keep going down here. Boss pulled. Toad damage is so crazy at this point. Oh, the poison coming out from those toads.
Yeah, Toad build extremely strong here, zoning them all out, and they don't really have this ranged poke. Bottom lane, though, you've got to keep an eye on that. That tower, that front wall was already taken down. No towers to do damage, and with the curse up, everything's going to be pushing directly onto the keeps.
Oh, Sonya going down again. That keep is going down now with that double minion wave on it. Arthas dying as well. This should be game going over to Seraphim. That boss is pretty healthy, as in fully healthy. And the core is open, and only 3 members for Fuego My Eggo still up and alive.
Yeah, Mundane Zebra and Mundane Zebra and Skullum going down there. Shiggity holding that front line, zoning them all off. The core's already down to 50% here. Seraphim taking game number 2. GG.